This video introduces students to different types of academic misconduct. In this video, you will gain an overview of different types of academic misconduct, and you will learn some details about plagiarism and the difference between copyright violation and plagiarism. Academic misconduct can take several different forms. In a nutshell, academic misconduct usually occurs when a student does something that gives them or someone else an unearned or unfair benefit in their academic work, their academic records, your grades, or your academic progress. These actions can include any of the following: plagiarism and improper citation, cheating, falsification and misrepresentation, improper access and improper dissemination, improper research practices, obstruction and interference, assisting in the violation of the standards of academic integrity, as well as other dishonest acts. Now, in this video, we're going to focus only on plagiarism and improper citation. One of the most common types of misconduct that students encounter is plagiarism and improper citation. In written work, such as research essays or reports, students are expected to demonstrate assignments based on their own original thinking. So your ideas will come from your research. In other words, you do your research using what others have published, and then you come up with your own ideas, interpretations, and/or analysis. Because you are basing your essay or report on what others have said, you must give credit or attribution to where you got your information from. These are your sources. In order to give credit, you use something called a citation and a reference, and you follow the style manual your instructor has required. Now, Turnitin.com's Plagiarism Spectrum identifies 12 common types of plagiarism. Although all types of plagiarism are treated seriously, this graphic lays out the progression from the least egregious to the most serious. The one you're likely most familiar with is word-for-word plagiarism, and that's this one right here, over here. This is when you copy and paste information directly into your essay without indicating that it is either a quotation and without giving a citation. Similar to this is what they call Mosaic Plagiarism. This occurs when you take verbatim information or word-for-word information from several sources and weave it together without citations and without putting it fully into your own words. Remember that it's not enough just to change a few words here and there. Accidental or inadvertent plagiarism refers to when you accidentally forget to properly cite or quote sources, or when you unintentionally paraphrase something that you read. Accidental plagiarism can be easily avoided by taking careful notes and keeping track of where your information comes from as you compose your assignment. A similar form is paraphrase plagiarism. This is when you rephrase something without providing a citation. Now, when an assignment is intended to be completed as an individual assignment, you are expected to complete it on your own without the help of anyone else. So collusion or unauthorized collaboration occurs when you work with another student on an assignment that's meant for individual assessment. There are many other types here. There's computer code plagiarism, which most of you probably won't need to worry about, but is basically copying or adapting source code without attribution. There's also self-plagiarism. This is a weird one to get your head around in some ways, because you might think, how can I plagiarize myself? And this is something that many students don't realize is a problem. In this case, if you were to reuse part or all of a whole assignment that was completed in one class for another class, you are committing self-plagiarism. So the best way to avoid this type of misconduct is to choose assignment topics completely different from each other, so you don't accidentally, or you're not tempted to, reuse your previous research. Source-based plagiarism is when you give inaccurate info so that sources cannot be found. A similar problem occurs when you pad your reference list. In other words, when you include in your reference list documents or articles that you didn't actually use in your assignment. Another type is called text modification, which can be done using software or can be done manually. And this is when you manipulate text with the intention of misleading plagiarism detection software, so misspelling words and that kind of thing. And there are software programs that will do this for you, and you don't want to get caught into doing this. So here you go. This is, things like text spinner or translation engines to evade plagiarism detection. Data plagiarism is another form. And data plagiarism is when you make up or you fabricate, or if you change or falsify data in order to make your assignment correct. Another newer form of plagiarism is called contract cheating. Contract cheating is a growing problem, and this is when you have someone complete your assignment or homework for you. And now sometimes students will feel desperate as due dates are looming and they decide to pay someone to complete your essay or assignment. And this is a really serious offense. And we've also heard stories of some people being blackmailed by the person or the company they've hired to do their work. And often the essays are of very poor quality, so it's really in your own best interest to learn how to research and write your own essays. According to Ontario Tech's academic integrity policy, plagiarism is presenting another person's intellectual property as your own. The library website makes the following statement. The Canadian Copyright Act provides that copyright protection automatically exists in every original literary, dramatic, musical, and artistic work when it is created. Furthermore, it states that copyright also subsists in certain non-traditional subject matter, such as a performer's performances, sound recordings, broadcast signals, and the like. So what this means is that quite often plagiarism and copyright violations overlap. But plagiarism is when you claim someone else's words and ideas as your own. You can violate copyright laws even if you give credit to the original source of the work you're using. For example, if you were to photocopy a big chunk of a textbook and post it online with the author's name, but without the publisher's permission, you would be violating copyright laws, but not committing plagiarism. You're allowed to use small sections from copyrighted materials without violating copyright laws, such as for quotations, but you must always provide the full bibliographic reference and a citation in your work. Always be careful to look for specific guidelines outlined by the copyright holders in the sources you're consulting. So in this video, you learned that there are different forms of academic misconduct. In general, academic misconduct typically happens when a student does something that gives them or someone else an unearned or unfair advantage in their academic work, academic record, or academic progress. And we focused on the details of what constitutes plagiarism and improper citation. Then you learned about the difference between a violation of academic integrity and a copyright violation. For full details on academic integrity and misconduct, please see the university's policies. In other videos, you will learn about other forms of academic misconduct and how to avoid violations of Ontario Tech's academic integrity policy.